Every sign's strongest hours today, and the one stretch that suits routine work rather than fresh starts, are coming in this reading. Welcome and a warm good morning. These readings are cast from your Vedic moon sign, the sidereal moon sign, not your sun sign. So please listen to the sign your moon occupies. Our Panchanga is anchored to New Delhi time. Today is Monday, the 10th of August. Krishna Dwadashi carries the early hours and completes at 8:01 in the morning, and Ardra Nakshatra holds the day until 12:26 in the afternoon, which favors thinking, questioning, and repairing what already exists. Rahu Kala falls from 7:27 to 9:06 in the morning, a gentle window for routine work, tidying, and follow-ups, rather than launching something new. Readings today are from your moon sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. Let us begin. Aries, your quickest thinking today comes from movement, so keep the day in motion rather than in analysis. Yesterday already had that light, mobile quality, and you likely found your mind carrying a busy schedule without strain. With the moon and Mars both in your third house of courage, siblings and short journeys, work and money favor the direct approach. Make the call, take the short trip, say the thing you have been circling. Your ruler is Mars, and courage genuinely does reach you before caution does, which is a real strength when a decision needs a first mover. That same third house colors your closest bonds, Aries. A brief, honest conversation with a sibling or neighbor settles more than a long letter would. Jupiter sits exalted in your fourth house of home and inner ground, so what you say lands softly. For energy, notice that the Adra Nakshatra gives way at 12:26 in the afternoon, and the pace steadies after that. So put the scattered errands earlier and the quieter work later. The moon shifts into that fourth house late tonight, and the day closes by turning you homeward. Let that turn include someone who has been alone lately, a visit or a call, asked for nothing, given freely. Let today be simple. That is enough. Taurus, today favors quiet consolidation of what you already own rather than reaching for something new. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 2, money, possessions, and what you value, and the mind likely carried a gentle, unhurried quality. That same house still holds the moon through today, so review what you have before adding to it. A subscription, a shelf, a small balance you have been meaning to look at. You are ruled by Venus, and you build slowly, and you build things that hold. Saturn sits in your 11th house of friendships and gains, retrograde there, and casts its full third aspect. So a friendship may ask for patience rather than quick answers. Let someone finish their thought before you reply. Taurus, that same patience settles your energy today. The moon steps into your third house of courage and communication at 4:43 at night tomorrow. So keep tonight simple and let the day close early. Rahu Kala runs 7:27 to 9:06 in the morning, a fine window for routine work instead of new starts. The steady note you began with is the one you end on. If you can, offer your seat or your place in line to someone who needs it more, and let that be the whole of it. May something small go beautifully right for you today. Gemini, today favors you moving through your own rhythm, thinking fast and being understood without effort. Yesterday, the moon opened in your first house of self, vitality, and how you come across, and you likely felt clear and quick in your own skin. That same moon still rides your first house today, so how you show up carries weight in work conversations. Use it to put the idea you have been sitting on into plain words, and let Rahu Kala from 7:27 to 9:06 in the morning be a quieter stretch for drafting rather than deciding. Money matters. Sit in your second house, where the Sun, Mercury, and an exalted Jupiter gather, which supports a steady look at what you earn and what you keep. In relationships, Gemini, your ruler Mercury makes curiosity, your engine and connection cost you nothing, so ask the question you usually skip. Venus sits debilitated in your fourth house of home and comfort, so keep expectations at home simple and give people time. For energy, Adra Nakshatra ends at 12:26 in the afternoon and Krishna Dwadashi ends at 8:01 in the morning, so front load your demanding thinking. The day belongs to your own presence. Somewhere in it, patiently show someone the thing they keep struggling with, asking nothing back. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Cancer, today your own sign is crowded with light, and the wisest thing you can do with it is stay soft rather than push. Yesterday the moon opened in your 12th house of rest, retreat, and letting go, so you likely felt quieter than usual. Turned inward while a great deal gathered around you. The Sun, Mercury, and an exalted Jupiter all sit in Cancer, your first house of self and beginnings, which supports clear thinking about your own direction at work, though the moon still moves through that 12th house until it enters your first house at 4:43 at night tomorrow. So draft and decide, but let the announcing wait. In relationships, Cancer, your period lord, the moon is in Gemini, which favors talking things through. Simply, you read a room before anyone in it says so. And today, that gift is best spent listening. For energy, Adra ends at 12:26 in the afternoon. Treat the earlier hours as the gentler ones and rest without guilt. This is the closing of a quiet chapter, and tomorrow morning the light comes to you. Today, pass on something useful you no longer need to someone who does, and let that be the whole of it. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Leo, warmth arrives ahead of you today before you have spoken a word. Yesterday already had that easier, more sociable rhythm, and you likely felt people opening toward you without much effort. The moon sits in house 11 from your sign, the house of gains, friends, and wider networks, which favors asking for the introduction or the information you have been circling. You are ruled by the Sun, and that steady warmth is genuinely yours, not something you perform. Make one clear ask today and see how easily it lands. In relationships, Leo, Rahu sits in your 7th house, the house of partnership, so let people show you who they are slowly rather than deciding early. Venus is debilitated in your 2nd house of speech and resources. So keep money, talk simple, and your words kind. Simple phrasing costs nothing and lands better. For energy, the moon moves into your 12th house of rest and letting go early tomorrow. So tonight is a good window to close things down gently rather than pushing on. Monday's rhythm carries you outward, then quietly inward. Somewhere today, say the encouraging word you have been meaning to say, unasked, expecting nothing back. And if you want the fuller picture, your complete birth chart is free on the website. Move through today at your own pace. It is the right one. Virgo, your competence is the quiet headline today, and it is being noticed without you having to announce it. Yesterday already put your mind in the 10th house of career and public standing, so your thinking has likely felt steady and useful for a while now. Mars sits in that same 10th house and casts its full fourth aspect, which can make you push harder than the task needs. Give your best work to one thing rather than three, and let the rest wait. Here is what settles by tonight: a softer footing, and it arrives when the moon shifts into your 11th house of gains and friendships at 4:43 at night tomorrow. Saturn, retrograde in your 7th, turns its full gaze back onto how you partner Virgo, so patience in one close relationship matters more than being right. Precision is instinct for you, and quiet service is the natural shape your care takes. So let that be an ease rather than a standard you fail. Energy runs best in the first half of the day. Keep the afternoon lighter. The ambition of the morning resolves into companionship by tomorrow. Somewhere today, finish a small chore that was never yours to do and say nothing about it. May the day meet you kindly and leave you a little lighter. Libra, today favors steady, honest work over clever shortcuts, and that suits you well. Yesterday already had that quality. The moon opened in your 9th house of belief, learning, and long journeys. So uncomplicated effort likely felt better than complexity. On the money side, the Sun, Mercury, and an exalted Jupiter all sit in your 10th house of work and public standing, which supports being seen doing something well today. Pick one visible task and finish it cleanly before evening. Venus, your ruler, is debilitated in the 12th house, and you still find the balance point in almost any room. Libra, so hold that gift lightly. In relationships, listen longer and decide less today, especially before the Krishna Dwadashi ends at 8:01 in the morning. For energy, the moon in Gemini keeps the mind quicker than the body. So protect your rest tonight, as the moon shifts into that 10th house early tomorrow. White and the number 6 make easy anchors if you want them. The uncomplicated effort that carried you yesterday carries you again today, and it lands you somewhere solid. Before the day closes, thank someone whose work usually goes unnoticed, plainly and by name, expecting nothing back. That small acknowledgement is complete in itself. Whatever today asks of you, you have met harder days than this. Scorpio, today asks for depth rather than speed, and that is native ground for you. Yesterday already turned you inward, with the moon moving through your 8th house of shared resources and deep change, and you may still feel that quiet pull. In work and money, the moon and Mars both sit in that 8th house, so joint funds, shared accounts, and anything held with another person deserve a slow, careful read rather than a quick decision. Mars rules you, Scorpio. You go deep where others skim, and your resilience is easy to underestimate. In relationships, Jupiter sits exalted in your 9th house of belief and guidance and casts its full 5th aspect, which supports honest, generous conversation. Say the true thing kindly and let someone see how you actually think. For energy, today is a Chandrashtama day for your sign, and it simply asks you to rest more and push less. It ends when the moon moves into your 9th house at 4:43 at night tomorrow. That inward stretch closes gently on its own. If someone you know is unwell, Sit with them a while today and let them set the pace, asking nothing back. Let today be useful rather than perfect. Sagittarius, today favors honest conversation with the people closest to you, and your instinct to keep searching rather than settle for a quick answer serves you well. Yesterday, the moon opened in your seventh house of partnership and close alliances, and your mind likely carried the day with unusual ease. That moon still rides in Gemini in your seventh, so work matters land best through dialogue. Bring your questions to a colleague rather than solving alone. Mars sits there too, casting its full seventh aspect back across your own sign, which can sharpen your words. So let your natural optimism, the gift of Jupiter, soften the edge before you speak. Sagittarius, that same directness is what makes your close alliances honest, and here is the payoff promised. Spoken with warmth, one plain sentence today can settle something that has been circling for weeks. Saturn in your fourth house of home and inner ground casts its full 10th aspect, so keep your evening simple and unhurried. The moon moves into your 8th house at 4:43 at night tomorrow, so finish the day gently rather than starting something new. The day began in easy partnership and closes there. If you can, share a meal with someone who is hungry, expecting nothing at all. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Capricorn, today asks you to be met rather than to push, and that is the easier road. Yesterday, the moon crossed your sixth house of daily work, health, and routine, and your mind likely felt capable, steady, quietly on top of things. That footing carries into work now, where the Sun, Mercury, and an exalted Jupiter gather in your seventh house of partnership and dealings, each casting a full aspect back across your chart. So let the day come to you through other people. Bring one unsettled arrangement into open conversation rather than solving it alone. There is a shift waiting tonight, and I will come back to it. In relationships, Capricorn, that same seventh house weight favors listening longer than feels necessary. You play the long game by nature, not by discipline, and Saturn, your ruler, has taught you that patience is not passivity. As for energy, Mars sits in your sixth house of routine, casting its full eighth aspect. So pace the physical load and keep effort even. Here is the shift. The moon moves into your seventh house at 4:43 at night tomorrow, closing the stretch of solitary effort with company. Before that, set out a little water or food where the birds or a stray animal can find it, wanting nothing back. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Aquarius, today favors turning a scattered idea into something you can actually hand to another person. Yesterday, the moon opened in your fifth house of creativity, romance, and children, so your mind likely wandered toward what delights you rather than what was on the list. Now the Sun, Mercury, and an exalted Jupiter gather in your sixth house of daily work, service, and routine, which means the ordinary tasks in front of you carry unusual weight. Take the least glamorous item on your list and finish it properly. Saturn, your ruler, sits retrograde in your second house of money and speech. Aquarius, so review earnings and commitments slowly rather than announcing anything new. In relationships, the moon in Gemini keeps your words quick and inventive, and you do think from an angle nobody else has tried. So let that angle serve someone instead of impressing them. For energy, the moon shifts into your 6th house at 4:43 at night tomorrow. So tonight is a good window to rest early rather than push. That unfinished idea from this morning. This is exactly how it becomes useful through steady, unglamorous work. Today, give someone your full, unhurried attention while they speak, expecting nothing at all in return. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient, and you can be too. Pisces, today rewards a soft heart with something solid. Your best work comes from care, not calculation. Yesterday held you close to home, family, and your inner ground, and simplicity was the kindest way through. So you may still be carrying a slower, quieter rhythm. On the work and money side, exalted Jupiter sits in your 5th house of creativity and joyful thinking and casts its full 9th aspect, which favors ideas you shape with feeling rather than force. Sketch one out today and let it stay unfinished if it needs to. Compassion moves you first, Pisces, and imagination reaches where analysis cannot, which is exactly why that rough idea will hold. In relationships, Venus sits in your 7th house, the house of partnership, casting its full 7th aspect back toward you. Attention given plainly does more than any clever word today. For energy, the moon guides the day from Gemini and steps into your 5th house early tomorrow, so pace yourself through the evening rather than pushing. Monday asks for gentleness, and the tone that began at home settles into something creative. If someone near you is struggling under a real weight, take part of it, carry the bag, finish the errand, sit with the task beside them, asking nothing back. Wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. May your day carry a steady rhythm, a little more ease than you expect, and the quiet confidence that comes from doing one thing well and then the next. Take the wins gently, take the slower moments gently too, and let kindness be the thread that runs through all of it. Whatever your sign, the sky is not asking you to hurry. It is inviting you to pay attention. Come back tomorrow morning and we will look at the day together again. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.